After ChatGPT-5 launched, millions of users reported getting worse results even though they haven't changed how they prompt. But that's precisely the problem. To be clear, ChatGPT-5 is a more powerful model.
GPT-5 didn't get worse. Your prompts are hitting the wrong brain.
OpenAI had to add an invisible router that picks which model handles your request. It's like calling customer service. You explain your problem once, and they should theoretically route you to the right department. Except in the case of ChatGPT-5, the router does not work very well. In simple terms, if you just type a prompt and hit enter like before, you sometimes end up with the best models and sometimes with the worst.
GPT-5 introduced a hidden routing system. Every time you press enter, OpenAI decides how much intelligence your request deserves. Sometimes you get a high reasoning model. Sometimes you get the fastest, cheapest option. That's why people say, I used the same prompt and got worse results. GPT-5 is also far more literal than older models. It no longer guesses what you mean. It follows instructions exactly.
And since the more powerful models are more expensive to run, it's actually in OpenAI's best interest to let you use the fastest but dumbest option whenever possible. Update number 2, GPT-5 is much better at following instructions. Again, this sounds great, but it's actually a double-edged sword. You see, OpenAI specifically trained GPT-5 with AI agents in mind. And AI agents need to be very good at following instructions. For example, if you tell an agent to insert a new row within a specific spreadsheet,
to fix this, you first need to control which brain answers you.
Starting with tip number 1, router nudge phrases. Effort low. In a nutshell, by adding just 4 words to the end of our prompts, think hard about this, we're able to force the invisible router I mentioned earlier to select a higher reasoning model.
Before we continue, quick heads up. If you're watching this and thinking, I like the idea, but I want to see how this actually works in practice, I've linked a free training below. It breaks down the exact system and workflow we use, shows how it's already structured, and explains how people use it without having to figure everything out from scratch. If that sounds useful, the link's in the description. You can check it out anytime. Now back to the video.
Jumping into a real-world example, I asked ChatGPT the same question twice. What are the pros and cons of putting my cash in a low-cost index fund versus a money market account? First, without the nudge phrase, and then with the nudge phrase.
For important or high-stakes tasks, you must explicitly trigger deeper reasoning. One simple phrase does this reliably. Think hard about this. That line often upgrades you to a higher reasoning model. You'll notice longer thinking time and second-order insights, the kind that actually affect decisions.
Comparing the outputs, you'll see a few key differences. First, you'll know that deeper reasoning was triggered when you see this thinking indicator showing that ChatGPT thought for a set amount of time. Second, and this is extremely nuanced and important, the deeper reasoning output will almost always include second-order effects we hadn't considered. In this example, GPT-5 gave a much better answer with more thinking time.
Once you control which brain answers you, the next problem appears immediately.
Moving on to tip number 2, the verbosity control, effort low. Going back to ChatGPT's invisible router, in addition to determining reasoning depth, it also has a separate verbosity setting that controls output length. But simply, just like nudging the router toward deeper reasoning, we can use specific phrases to control exactly how long or short GPT-5's outputs are.
GPT-5 also has a separate verbosity control. If you don't specify length, the router decides for you. That's why you get a 5-page essay when you wanted a Slack message. Fix it with explicit instructions. 1. Short. Give me the bottom line in 100 words or less. 2. Medium. Aim for a concise 3 to 5 paragraph explanation. 3. Long. Provide a comprehensive breakdown 600-800 words. GPT-5 follows these rules extremely well, if you give them.
And after extensive testing, I found 3 power phrases we can use daily. First up, low verbosity outputs work best when we need only critical information. For example, I asked ChatGPT to draft a Slack message with an update to our CMO. Without a control phrase, the output is fine, but too long for a Slack message to a C-level executive. But when I added, give me the bottom line in 100 words or less, use Markdown for clarity and structure.
Length control helps, but it doesn't fix weak prompts.
A notch with our first medium effort tip. 95% of users don't know OpenAI has an official prompt optimizer tool that rewrites our prompts for GPT-5. Here's how it works. I paste a prompt designed to help me prepare for my next performance review. Click optimize.
Even well-sized answers can miss the point if the prompt is poorly written. OpenAI quietly released a prompt optimizer designed specifically for GPT-5. It consistently does three things. 1. Adds clear structure. 2. Removes vague instructions. 3. Adds clarification handling when info is missing. You don't need the official tool. Just tell GPT-5, act as an expert prompt engineer. Rewrite my prompt to be clearer, structured, and error-resistant. GPT-5 is exceptionally good at improving its own instructions.
Wait for a minute or so and we can speed this up. And not only do I get an optimized prompt, but I can also click here to review the rationale behind each change, which teaches me to write better GPT-5 prompts myself. After running hundreds of prompts through this tool, I've noticed it makes 3 consistent improvements.
Now that your prompt is optimized, there's one more upgrade that changes everything.
Tip number 4, create an XML sandwich. Effort, medium. If you end up using the meta prompt from just now, you notice that sometimes the optimized prompt will have these weird angle brackets wrapping different sections of the text. These are called XML tags, and OpenAI themselves recommend organizing your instructions this way. Taking a step back, if you've ever typed something like context, here's the background, task, do this thing.
GPT-5 doesn't infer structure anymore, it expects it. OpenAI recommends organizing prompts using labeled sections, often called the XML sandwich. You separate 1. Context, 2. Task, 3. Constraints, 4. Output format. Think of it as labeled folders instead of a messy desk. When instructions are clearly labeled, GPT-5 stops guessing and starts executing. This works especially well for 1. Custom GPTs, 2. Projects, 3. Reusable workflows.
Then you're already familiar with the concept of structuring your prompts. But with GPT-5's surgical precision at following instructions, this structure is now critical. Think of XML tags as labeled boxes. Instead of dumping everything into one paragraph and hoping GPT-5 figures it out, you're explicitly labeling each component. This is background information, this is the task, this is the output format. For example, instead of saying, help me prepare for a product manager interview, here's all the background information, and then dumping a wall of text.
Now GPT-5 fully understands your instructions, but there's one final step.
To our final tip, the perfection loop. Effort high. Remember how GPT-5 excels at critiquing itself? Well, OpenAI actually recommends we exploit this. In practice, this means instead of accepting GPT-5's first response and manually asking for improvements, you tell it up front to create its own definition of excellence, grade its own work, and keep iterating internally until it achieves the best.
GPT-5's biggest hidden strength is self-critique. Instead of accepting the first draft, you force a perfection loop. You instruct GPT-5 to 1. Define what excellent looks like. 2. Create an internal rubric. 3. Grade its own output. 4. Silently iterate until it reaches 10 out of 10. This transforms GPT-5 from a fast writer into a self-editing expert. Best used for 1. Reports. 2. Strategy documents. 3. Presentations. 4. Production-ready code.
Result. Imagine hiring a designer that grades their initial draft against their own quality checklist, decides it's only a 5 out of 10, redesigns it, but version 2 is still only 7 out of 10, and they keep going until they score a 10 out of 10. This is essentially what we're making GPT-5 do. 2 examples to illustrate how this works. Example 1. Write a market analysis report on the enterprise AI industry. Before you begin, develop an internal rubric for what constitutes a world-class market analysis report.
These 6 steps stack together. When you use them properly, GPT-5 doesn't feel weaker, it feels unstoppable. If you like this video, gently hit the like button. If you dislike this video, then share with your friends and family. Because whether you liked it or not, it could be helpful to your friends and family and your social media contact. And if you think we are doing our best to try and explain to you how you can change your life, and you want to watch the next video, then make sure you subscribe to our channel and switch on the notification bell button. And make sure you ask your friends and family and social media contacts to subscribe to our channel, switch on the notification bell button as well. This way, you will help us get 10,000 subscribers in next 3 months. To learn more money techniques, watch these videos, and we will see you on the next one.